What's going on? It's Matt. It's another expert restaurant roundup. This time, it's not just restaurants. This is something you can apply to everyday life. And I can't wait to dig into this because relationships have changed a lot the last 5 to 10 years. We'll be right back with the author of this book. Mr. Don DiJulius, mouthful there, up in Cleveland, Ohio. Tell us about yourself. Tell us about the book and your company.
Hey, Matt, excited to be on and talking to your audience. The relationship economy, believe it or not, came out 2 months before the pandemic hit, and it's only become more prevalent today, right? So the last 15 years, the digital revolution, we've all generations have lost people skills have been eroding, right? Because even you and I who didn't grow up on this and then we have generations at no fault of their own that are relationship disadvantaged because they've only grown up in the technology, this era. So the touchscreen era. So it's about, I don't believe there's anything more important in our lives that we could work at that'll have a bigger impact professionally or personally than the ability to build an instant rapport with someone, be it a stranger, coworker, client, employee, leader, whoever. And the problem is it's not taught anywhere. It's not taught at home. It's not taught in school. The only place it's being taught is some of the best businesses. And we all have to teach it because, we're not going to hire it, so it has to be part of our orientation and training.
Yeah, it's the relationship part of it has changed so much, the dynamic. I'm 46. So, early in my career of selling advertising in the radio days and even our boat dealership from 99 to 05, 06, I'll say, is when it started to change with MySpace and places like that coming up. But back then it was lunches, it was coffee, it was playing golf. There were a lot of relationships, even networking groups were all in person. And, notwithstanding the pandemic, I saw a huge difference the past, 2 or 3 years before the pandemic where, people thought that just because they were on Facebook or LinkedIn with you and they liked something that's what it needed to build that relationship. And we've got, 12 salespeople on our team. We've got another, 30 to 40 in different departments that work with our clients. And the one thing I've seen a lot of it is that we've lost the art of using the phone or even shaking a hand or having coffee in person.
Yeah. And listen, connections are not the same as connecting, right? And, looking at someone, face to face and being able to read that. We were on my company, the DiJulius Group, was on Zoom 3 to 4 years prior to the pandemic. And so our thing was you couldn't have a conference call. It had to be a Zoom because, like you and I see you, yep. Right? Yep. You're not a voice. If I say something funny and you giggle, yep. Or smile, I'm like, oh, he's a good guy. He thinks my jokes are funny, right? And you also can pick up so much customer intelligence with what's behind people, right? There could be your college degree diploma. It could be a picture of your family and their vacation. So that's really important too. So there's some benefits to the Zoom world, but yeah, just texting and just digitally communicating. Proximity leads to connectivity, and we gotta be building relationships that people want to do business with people they like.
Yeah, for sure. And chapter 4 was one that got my attention, was the touchscreen age. I think first when I read the title of the chapter, I'm like, oh, we can talk about here. And one of the big things that hit me in here, that you talk about customer service and the impact it's had, social media has had on customer service. And I also think that it has enabled people to make more well-rounded relationships. Because, my dad taught me early in sales was, you walk in somebody's office, look around. I remember I walked in the president of the Ohio Lottery's office in Cleveland, Ohio, probably 2000. And it was supposed to be a cattle call. You walk in, you get to shake the guy's hand, you say a couple words, you leave. I saw on his desk, he had an Eagle Scout picture of his kids. I'm an Eagle Scout. We had a conversation. An hour later, they're knocking on the door saying, your meeting's over, get out. And, that's social media has made that so much easier. And it's also made it easier for customer service because as a restaurant owner or a small business, somebody leaves you a review or makes a comment, you're able to do a little investigation to, get, arm yourself with more data.
Right. And you're 100% right. I used to say, if I can get in your office, I can own the relationship, right? And again, back to the previous example, now a lot of us can get in each other's office virtually, but social media, yeah, I could see that you just bought a new car that you're proud of, right? I could see the vacation you just got, home from, and that little Billy, won, the soccer championship and all those things. I think there's a gift in every conversation if we pay attention to it, professionally and personally.
Yeah. And on page 103, you kind of talk about this because we talk in our company about proper ways to engage on social media and how to build that relationship. And I had a conversation with our new guys, Trevor, this morning. I'm talking about, hey, here's some things that you can do to make that phone call easier or warmer, but also to actually be sincere. Like, it drives me crazy when somebody calls me up and gets a hold of me and they're like, oh, hey, I want to talk to you about this. Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I've written 3 books. Oh, you've got a book? Yeah. Oh, you've got a podcast? Yeah, I got 9 of them. And so social media gives you that chance to really engage differently. But I think you've got to teach your employees how to do it because we're accustomed to using Facebook and Instagram and, a lot of social media personally, arguing about politics, about vaccinations, about high school football. There's another side of it, and you got to make sure your employees know the line not to cross, or, one, maybe how to clean up some of the stuff they're doing that might impact them from a business standpoint negatively.
Yeah. And you do a little homework. So, every morning, I'll look at my day. If I have, 6 or 7 meetings in person, virtually, whatever it may be, I'll do my recon. I'll go to LinkedIn and who's mad again, and where he went to college, and who our mutual connections are, and what associations he belongs to, and then I can come out of the gate and be like, hey, your team had a big win this weekend, and whatever. Which obviously bodes a lot more instead of guessing. And like you said, I just got that. I got someone who LinkedIn messaged me, says, have you ever thought of writing a book? Right? It's like,
yeah, I have.
Yeah.
I love it. I get that occasionally. I had a guy the other day that, because I've written 3, I've got a 4th one coming out, and he messaged me and said, hey, I just wanted to say, I love your content. I love what you're doing. I really, really enjoy what you put out there. I said, cool. What do you enjoy the most? And he actually came back with a response that was valid. He referenced a couple of things, and he said, by the way, I've got your 2nd book I've read. I really enjoy it. And now it created a conversation, whereas the other 9 or 10 spammers that are just bots or somebody overseas just hitting a button, or just somebody that's uneducated.
And it also is a great question, even for you to learn, what is people reacting to, right? And you're like, and you're like, oh man, that's driving home. I love that. I think that's a great question, just to get educated on what people are enjoying of the content you're producing.
Chapter 9, are you being disrupted, or are you this disruptor? Talk about that chapter.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's an Uber that's come into every industry, and it probably already has, right? And so, we got to be working on, the next 5 years, and one of the places is what your experience looks like, and how it's evolving, and you don't want to be Blockbuster. And Blockbuster was stubborn. They were in denial. And I don't know if you probably heard the story, but their CEO, 20 years ago, went to the board and said, hey, there's a little company that started a membership, video membership. And, I think we should explore it. And the board almost fired him because, late fees made up 13% of their revenue. right?
Wow.
And which we like to call bad profits, right? When you're exploiting your customers. And then the rest is history. That little membership company became Netflix, and now Blockbuster's gone. So you got to be paranoid. You got to be extremely paranoid, and you can't be stubborn. And what worked yesterday isn't working today, and what's working today isn't going to work tomorrow. So, how can you be cutting edge? And I think today, especially in your industry, every industry, right? But your industry, the hospitality industry has lost in a labor force. Like not every industry is struggling with labor, but the hospitality industry has literally lost it, where they may not be coming back to the hospitality industry, right? When they go back to work, for the foreseeable future, it doesn't look like a percentage of them are ever going to come back to that, right? That's scary. So how do you do that? You got to figure a way to add in artificial intelligence. I see the future, in some restaurant models of total ordering on my phone, even when I'm sitting there, right? And instead of maybe having as many servers, you just have runners. And it's a great experience, because sometimes it takes forever to flag that server down for the first time or the second time, or when they forgot to bring you ketchup or whatever it may be. But now that I could just order it exactly, and it asks me those questions. So whatever that may look like, I think there has to be a stronger blend of artificial intelligence for appointments and all those things, where you can have less employees who are doing the critical parts, building the relationships and handling the customer when it's needed, but not the manual stuff that can be outsourced.
Yep. So the book is The Relationship Economy. I got it on Amazon. Is that the best place to get it, or can they get it on the DiJuliusGroup.com?
They can get it at the DiJulius Group. They can get it wherever they like. I think at the DiJulius Group it comes signed, but whatever is most convenient for them.
Awesome. Well, check the book out. And if you do get it on a place like Amazon, make sure you leave a review and let everybody know, because that helps the algorithm in Amazon. It helps authors like this young man. What does the DiJulius Group do?
The DiJulius Group is a customer experience consulting company. We work with Starbucks, Chick-fil-A, the Ritz Carlton, and everyone in between. And we just focus on the experience, both for the customer and the employee.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate your time today. I look forward to digging into the book more and getting it to one of my teams so they can take it to another level as well.
Thanks for having me, Matt. I appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.